He was a clever king who ruled over the island of Ithaca. After a long and brutal war against Troy, Odysseus set sail for home, but the gods had other plans. His worst moment came when his ship approached the land of the Sirens. These creatures sang enchanting songs that lured sailors to their deaths on the rocky shores. Odysseus knew about the Sirens and wanted to hear their song, but he also knew it would be disastrous for his crew. He came up with a clever plan. He ordered his men to plug their ears with wax so they wouldn't be tempted by the Sirens' song. Then he had them tie him to the mast of the ship so he could hear the song but couldn't act on its allure. As they sailed closer, the Sirens began to sing. Their voices were like nothing Odysseus had ever heard before, beautiful, haunting, and irresistible. He felt an overwhelming urge to steer the ship towards the shore, to join the Sirens and forget all about his journey home. He strained against the ropes, begging his men to release him, but they just rowed harder, their faces set in determination. The Sirens' song grew louder, more alluring, and Odysseus felt his heart ache with longing. He wanted to give in, to let the music wash over him and carry him away. But Odysseus had prepared for this moment. He had trusted his plan, and it worked. His men, with their ears plugged, rowed the ship forward, ignoring Odysseus's pleas to change course. The Sirens' song grew even louder, and Odysseus felt like he was being torn apart. He thought of all the things he would miss if he gave in. His wife, Penelope, and his son, Telemachus, growing up without a father. He thought of his kingdom, Ithaca, and the people who depended on him. But the Sirens' song was so beautiful, so tempting. Just when it seemed like the song would never end, the ship sailed past the Sirens' island. The music faded away, and Odysseus felt a mix of relief and disappointment. He had resisted the Sirens' call, but he knew he would never forget the haunting beauty of their song. As they sailed on, Odysseus couldn't help but think about the other challenges they would face on their journey home. There was the whirlpool Charybdis, which could swallow their ship whole, and the sea monster Scylla, which could snatch men from the deck. But Odysseus was determined to make it home. He navigated through treacherous waters, avoiding the dangers that lurked beneath the surface. He and his men faced many trials, but they persevered, using their wits and their bravery to overcome each obstacle. One of the most difficult challenges they faced was when they arrived on the island of the Cyclops Polyphemus. This giant, one-eyed monster ate humans for breakfast, and Odysseus knew they had to be careful. He came up with a plan to blind the Cyclops and escape, but it wasn't easy. Polyphemus was enormous and powerful, and Odysseus and his men had to use all their cunning to outsmart him. They offered the Cyclops wine, getting him drunk and distracted. Then, while Polyphemus slept, Odysseus and his men heated a sharp stake in the fire and poked out the Cyclops' one eye. The Cyclops woke up, enraged, and Odysseus and his men barely escaped with their lives. They clung to the undersides of the Cyclops sheep as they were let out to graze, and eventually they made it back to their ship. After many long months of traveling, Odysseus finally arrived back in Ithaca. He found his kingdom overrun by suitors vying for his wife's hand, but he disguised himself as a beggar and waited for the right moment to strike. With the help of his son Telemachus and the goddess Athena, Odysseus revealed his true identity and defeated the suitors. He was reunited with his wife, Penelope, and his kingdom was restored. Odysseus's story teaches us that even in the face of great challenges, we can triumph through cleverness, determination, and perseverance. He showed us that it's okay to be tempted, but with preparation and self-control, we can overcome even the most alluring dangers. And when we face our own sirens, our own challenges and temptations, we can remember Odysseus's story and find the strength to resist and overcome. We can be like Odysseus, clever and brave, and make it home to those we love. As Odysseus settled back into his kingdom, he knew that he had grown and changed. He had faced so many dangers and overcome them all, and he was proud of the man he had become. He knew that he would always carry the lessons of his journey with him, and that they would guide him in the years to come. And that, my young friend, is the story of Odysseus' worst moment and how he triumphed. His journey home was long and difficult, but in the end, he emerged victorious, his kingdom restored, and his family reunited. Would you like to hear more about Odysseus' adventures?